Hello, and welcome back. Today, as the title suggested, I'm going to be reviewing my 2021 season NFL predictions and just seeing how that compares to the actual records. I actually have not looked at this. I looked at this a couple weeks ago. I have not looked at it today. It's not great. It could be worse. Let's just get right into it anyway. I'm going to start with the teams that had the worst, and then I'll go to the teams that I had the best and see where they actually line up. So the team that I had being the worst was the Houston Texans at 1-16. They surprised, especially with Deshaun Watson. I had said in that video that I made that without Watson, I thought they would go 1-16. The Texans' actual record was 4-13. So I had them a little underrated. Next, I just went by record, so I had like 1-16. Now this is the 2-15 teams that I had. I had the Jaguars and the Jets. So the Jaguars ended up 3-14, so I was actually pretty close there. And then the Jets ended up 4-13. So those, I was actually kind of close on them. Wasn't too bad. At 3-14, I had the Detroit Lions. The Lions ended up 3-13-1. So I had them 3-14. That's pretty good, I'd say. And then next at 4-13, I had I'm just literally reading off this paper that I made back before the season started. I had the Falcons at 4-13. They surprised me. It was 7-10. Like Cordell Patterson. Their defense was like fine, I guess. I feel like they were a sneaky 7-10. I mean, it's nothing great, but I still think that's exceeding all the expectations they had coming this year, at least for me. Also at 4-13, I had the Panthers. They ended up 5-12, so not too bad there. And then I really underrated the Eagles. I had the Eagles going 4-13, but the Eagles ended up 9-8, and they're in the playoffs. So my bad, Philadelphia. Oh, and then talking about underrating, we're moving on to the 5-12 records. I had the Bengals. That's my bad. Bengals end up 10-7, winning their division. So my bad, but hey, they proved me wrong. Good for them. And then I also had the Raiders at 5-12, so they also were 10-7, and they're in the playoffs as well. So my 5-12 predictions were not great. At 6-11, I had the New York Giants. They ended up going 4-13, so I had higher expectations for them than what they actually did. It just seems like every year you think like they'll take a step up, and they just don't. And then at 7-10, I had the Broncos, and they ended 7-10. So that's actually the first one that I got right. And as you can see, you actually probably can't see, it's really messy. I had the Broncos up here at 5-12, and then I moved them down. So yeah, Broncos 7-10, the first one I had right. Moving on to 8-9, I had the Washington football team. They ended 7-10, not bad. One game off. Moving on to 9-8, I had a good amount of teams here. So 9-8, first team I had the Bears. That's my bad. That's a little biased right there. They ended up 6-11. I mean, you can blame it, injuries, coaching, whatever. They did not end up 9-8. I also had the Dolphins at 9-8, and the Dolphins finished 9-8. Okay, so I was right there as well. I also had the Vikings at 9-8. The Vikings finished they finished 8-9, so this is again one game difference. And then I also had the Chargers at 9-8, and the Chargers finished 9-8. Okay, so far I've gotten the Broncos, Dolphins, and the Chargers right. That's 3. Okay, and moving on to the 10-7 teams, I had the Cardinals, and the Cardinals finished 11-6. So they were a game better than I had predicted. They started out, whatever it was, they were like the undefeated team for a while. What was their, I don't even remember, whatever. I also had the Patriots at 10-7. The Patriots finished 10-7. Good prediction there. And then I had the Saints at 10-7. I know they didn't finish 10-7. They finished 9-8. Actually wasn't too bad either. And then I had the Steelers. I thought they were going to do a little better than they actually did. I had them at 10-7. The Steelers finished 9-7-1. Again, not awful. And then also at 10-7, I had a lot of teams at 10-7. I had the 49ers, and the 49ers finished 10-7. Okay, and then this one was not good. I had the Seahawks. I was very high on the whole NFC West. And yeah, the Seahawks, they had a very disappointing season. They finished at 7-10, so switch them. Now moving on to 11-6, I had the Dallas Cowboys, who finished, I believe they were 12-5. Yes, they were 12-5, so they did one game better than I thought. Then I also had the Indianapolis Colts, who finished 9-8, so they did a little worse than I had thought. And then I had the Titans at 11-6 as well. They finished 12-5. Moving on to the 12-5 teams, I had the Browns. They were only 9-8. Pretty disappointing season for Cleveland. Once again, I had the Rams at 12-5. The Rams finished 12-5. So we got that one right. And I also had the Buccaneers. Oops, I just clicked something wrong. Sorry about that. I also had the Buccaneers at 12-5, and they finished 13-4. So exceeding my expectations a little. Oh gosh, this one. At 13-4, I had the Ravens. They did not finish 13-4. They finished 9-8 last, or 8-9, sorry, last in their division. I mean, I couldn't have predicted the injuries. I made these predictions like one of the first weeks of the preseason, I think. Maybe even before the preseason. It was probably like week 1 or something like that. So, but they got absolutely decimated by injuries. Running backs and Lamar, and the list goes on. Moving on to 14-13, I had the Bills. The Bills finished 11-6, so they won their division, but I had them going 14-13, so I was a little off there. And then I had the Packers at 14-13. They ended up 13-4, so yeah, just one game off there. Hold on. Thank you. And then, last but not least, actually the best, at least as I had them, I had at 15-2, I had the Kansas City Chiefs. Gosh dang it, allergies. Sorry about that. At 15-2, I had the Kansas City Chiefs. They ended up 12-15. I had them being the best team in the league this year. I believe the Packers ended up being the best team, but they ended up 12-15, still winning their division. Whatever. Those were my 2021 predictions. They weren't awful. I mean, I even got a couple dead on. A couple were dead off. So, comment if you guys have any predictions, what you thought, who exceeded your expectation, or who was well under your expectations. I don't think I'm going to cut out that sneezing. We all sneeze, right? Alright, anyway. Thanks for watching. Thanks.